I'm making my spicy barbecue wings, which are a deep fried, crispy, juicy, raging party of magic for your mouth. I'm starting off with a few pounds of wings that I'm seasoning with salt. And then my dredge here is really easy. It's just flour, paprika, cayenne, and salt. Now I'll get all my wings thoroughly coated in the dredge. And these wings are patted dry, which is gonna help make them crispy. They're ready to fry. I have a few inches of neutral oil heating up here to 350 degrees. I've got it in a cast iron pot, which I love for deep frying because it holds the heat really nicely. I'm gonna fry these in batches for about 12 to 15 minutes until they're golden brown and crispy. It's about to smell really good in here. Hello, crispy town. I'm gonna transfer these to my wire rack now. I'll keep on frying and then I'll toss them in my wing sauce. I love barbecue and I love buffalo, so this is my sweet and spicy combination of both. I've got my big bowl here to toss the wings and I'm gonna build the sauce in here as well. I'm gonna get it heating over low and I'll melt 6 tablespoons of butter, 1/3 cup of barbecue sauce, 1/3 cup of hot sauce, building more depth of flavor, a tablespoon of sriracha, just for more heat, and a tablespoon of honey, just to round everything out. I'll just whisk this together as the butter finishes up melting. I mean, this sauce looks like a sauce, but it smells like a dream. I think it's ready for the wings. Get it off the heat, and I'll give these wings a saucy bath. They sound so crispy. I'll get these completely coated. It's not fair. I just want to eat all of these for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. I'll get this onto my plate. Look how glossy and saucy. I'm barely gonna be able to wait long enough to sprinkle these scallions on, but I'm gonna power through. Going in. I'm dunking in a ranch blue cheese combo. Oh, heck yeah. That is a perfect wing.
What I'm making right now is this dynamite chili. I got some serrano that I'm chopping up nice and fine. It's gonna go into these onions that I've had sauteing to the point where they're not quite caramelized, but nice and soft and smell dynamite. So let me get the onion, get the garlic there with the serrano in. There we are. Ancho, a little bit sweeter. It's kind of got that real big chili pepper flavor, but you got to remember it's got a little fruitiness to it and some heat, but it's been dried and ground up. Now, we're gonna go a little bit more liberal with that. It's about 2 tablespoons there. The dark chili powder, remember, chili powder doesn't mean it's just a chili. There's a lot going on here. You got garlic, you got onion, you got a variety. There's a little mixture in there, and that's why they call it chili powder. I think that's meant to go like if you were just making chili, like regular old chili, but that has to go in here. Pretty predominant flavor, and that's only about a tablespoon. And then a little cumin, of course. Now, 2 cups of some beef stock, low sodium. Get the beef stock down. Now, some tomatoes done with a little green chili. I mean, not like it stands out like it's the only thing you get, but it's a pretty recognizable flavor. Okay, that. Now, here we go with some black beans. Now, this is the question you have to ask yourself. You know, sometimes you open the beans and you look in there and there's a ton of water, and other times you look in there, it's a little bit dry. Well, I don't know how they're gonna pack it, but do you need the water or not? I'm looking at this, and it's kind of a watery mixture, so I'm gonna just bring this over here, strain a little bit of the bean water off. But I'll tell you another thing about the bean water. I find that it works as a good thickening agent. So I'll leave a little bit in there and pour that in. This is all gonna simmer for about 45 minutes. Check this out. Ever work with chayote? I'm telling you, talk about some interesting vegetable. It's kind of a cross between like a potato and squash. Great Mexican food. Gotta cook it like you cook a squash, but grows really cool on this vine, and boy, does it have some real neat texture to it. So what I did is took a little chayote here, cut it up, get these done up, and into a bowl with little olive oil and salt and pepper and throw them on the grill. Look at that. Skirt steak that I marinated, tequila, lime juice, all going on this fantastic chili that I made. Now look at this. Onions, beans, peppers, garlic, all cooked down, a little bit of beef stock. These tomatoes had some green chilies in them. Does that look dynamite or what? You should smell it. This is camping food in the Fieri house. Although we're doing it indoors, this is how we knock it out. Now the skirt steak that I just sliced up nice and thin, pile some of that on, so it's kind of got its own flavor and it's been charred a little bit. Then we go some of the chayote, which is, like I said, kind of like a squash and a potato, and that's been grilled off, a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, nice bell pepper. So it's kind of the fajita theme right there. Get some of the creamy avocado. There we go. Some pepper jack on top of that. We give a little fresh squeeze of some lime for some acid, and then just a little dollop, some sour cream. How's that look?
A hot cheese, crunchy mac and cheese! So we're starting with these, okay? We got some milk going here, nice and warm. And how do you extract that fiery, kind of slightly sweet from the corn flavor in here?
What are you about to do?
We are making a hot cheese, crunchy sachet.
Stop it right
Never
now.
been done before.
A bouquet
Sonny-
crunchy? Oh my
bouquet
gosh.
crunchy.
A bouquet crunchy.
So much like you would like aromatics and herbs you put in there to steep through a soup or a sauce or whatever without getting the solid bits in there, we're gonna do the same thing with some cheesecloth. Put it in here, wrap it up. Sonny, take the other half, just pulverize them in that bag, please. So you take a little butcher twine.
I wish you would have told me about this because one time I bought a case of these because I'm addicted. And it must have been a wonky case because 5 or 6 of the bags just had huge nuggets of the flavor.
Yes.
Just huge flavor nuggets that didn't...
At the bottom?
Yeah, that didn't get
Wait,
like...
you bought a case of these? A case of bags? Or
I'm
like
on the internet, okay?
Thank
you know,
God
what
for
can I
Sonny and
say?
keeping the American economy.
You can't find them at every
lively.
gas station. You know, you can't find them at every grocery store or gas station, so that's
So great, I got some whole milk in here, and we're gonna add that in. What better way to introduce new flavors and experiences like spice to kids than mac and cheese forms, right? It's a very familiar vehicle. So what we discovered that is you can kind of see it happening for whatever's in that bag of hot cheese crunchies starts turning the milk a little pink, right? So how do we kind of bump up that orange flavor that we're all used to?
Yeah, because we want it really orange. We don't want like a medicinal pink.
Looking pink, right? So we're adding some annatto.
Smart.
Right? Now, this is what it looks like. It comes from the achote tree, and it's these little seeds from the fruit in there, and it's used in a lot of foods. It's totally food safe, all natural way to kind of color
American
your
cheese,
food. American cheese,
cheddar cheese,
cheese. The outside of Munster cheese. And it's also formed in a paste. You know, it's grown regionally in Mexico and Brazil and stuff, and so they use it in a lot of those foods too. Al pastor, a lot of achote paste in there. So we're gonna let this steep for a little bit, get all that flavor out, and we got the annatto seeds in there, season it up, and this is what it looks like when we are done.
Whoa.
You did that, can you hand cut this? I got some, the trifecta of mac and cheese cheeses here. Some cheddar, of course, for sharpness. Creaminess, we got some slices from the deli of American cheese, and that was Fontina cheese you just grated.
It was
so you got
delicious.
creamy, you got sharpness, and you got American.
What do you want with this? You want some like ribbons?
Yeah, just ribbons. It's all gonna melt. So we can see that sachet kind of got all that flavor of those hot cheese crunchies in there. No need to open this. It's a Pandora's box of weirdness, but we love it because it did its job in here, right? So we got the super flavored milk, which we're gonna add to our what, Geoffrey? Our roux here, because we are making this hot cheese crunchy bechamel. You love it, Sonny, you're almost done there.
You know it.
So we got equal parts here, butter and flour, 1/4 cup each. And this is 3 cups of milk, so this is the perfect ratio for that silky texture, kind of still tight, but still kind of gooey, right? And you just add that warm, flavored milk to the roux.
Jeff, I gotta know what Sarah thought when you made this.
She's measuring her chicken breast
This
and her
does not
salad.
seem like a Smarro
I've
recipe.
seen
definitely
this.
not.
I'm excited. I literally have seen this on the internet. I follow a couple of food pages, and they have these places in Cali where you can go get the mac and cheese in one of those takeout, aluminum foil, circular, and it's just, the top is just laden with the crunchies.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? With a beautiful cheese pull.
So you'll see, we didn't do a lot because my son is 11. He's not like, putting hot sauce on everything yet.
Yep.
This was a great way, he loved it because it's mild and it's sweet and it's fun and it's bright red, right? So we're gonna add the cheese
Oh, that was good.
right in there.
Don't forget the cheddar.
Cheddar. Sharper the better, I think, just for
agree.
flavor, right? Why?
Gotta go up against that pasta.
Yeah. which we're using elbow mac. And what that American cheese does, why I think it's pretty necessary, it does help emulsify the other cheeses together.
I always
right?
want the elbow mac.
You know, at the
All
end of the
about
day, if I
elbows.
can't eat mac and cheese with a spoon, it's probably not for me, right? So this is all gonna melt.
Good
Look
color.
at how great color, right? That's the annatto in there.
Good
right?
old
Experiments with that
annatto.
rather than pulling out the little squeeze bottle of red. Then you can get in a little trouble. Okay, so we're gonna put super al dente
Yep.
elbow mac right in there. And we're just gonna take it off the heat and stir it. I got my oven at 350.
Wow.
You got your crunchy, cheesy tops there.
Yep. Waiting for you and ready
Yeah.
to go.
I mean, look at that ratio already. You're right, it's kind of that perfect combination of baked mac and cheese and stovetop mac and cheese.
I love both, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you just gotta make a quick bechamel and make it happen on the stovetop. But if you've got time to throw it in the oven and let everything come together.
look at
That
that.
is a crazy color.
It is crazy.
So crazy. It matches the napkins.
It looks like a supercharged cheddar cheese, though.
It
It
does,
does.
right? All right, so now we're gonna top it with more hot cheese crunchies.
Texture time.
All right.
Crunchy on 10. Just
So you can
crunchy.
obviously go
Harder in the paint.
bananas on this.
Depending on what you want, right?
Exactly. So this is going in the oven, 350 for about 10, 15 minutes just to kind of bubble up. Everything's already cooked. Sonny, I got it. You stay right
Yeah, I'm
there.
just gonna clean up.
Yeah, you clean up
Get ready
for me.
for you. Get rid of this bouquet crunchy.
Bouquet crunchy. And here you go. These things can burn fast, so keep an eye on this, especially if you're just gonna broil it, right?
Whoa, right here, buddy.
Oh, land it.
Cheese, crunchy, mac and cheese.
Yes.
Straight from the Mauro kitchen to Mr. Zakarian's mouth.
Look
Look at you. What are you thinking? What's going through your head there, buddy?
Just
Look
we've had
at-
so
oh,
many
oh.
sensations today of color and texture.
Look at that.
It's been a
Look at
color
that.
and texture sensation day.
Yeah.
That's what we do. There you go. Okay, well, I got a
I
corner
haven't
piece
had
for
this
you.
yet. Like as many
Right.
times as I've seen it online, you'd think I
Well,
would
it's an
try and
easy
make it at
cleanup.
home. Thank you, Jeff, for doing the work.
Well, hey, you know
is
what? This is
awesome.
a, I don't know, to me it's,
You know what, Jeff? This is really good. It's spicy, but not overpowering. Nice, creamy, cheesy sauce. And then, like, you get that back heat. It comes in at the end. And I love the little crunchy bits on top.
The main course for dinner is going to be a big batch of sticky, spicy ribs. They're going to go into the slow cooker, get nice and sticky and glazed. Now, I've just been salting and peppering the ribs. These are just regular pork spare ribs. I've used baby back ribs for this before, and they turn out great too. Now I'll whip up the sauce, which is going to turn into the sweet, sticky, spicy glaze. It starts with 2 jars of apricot preserves. I happen to love sweet, sticky ribs. It's just the way I grew up eating ribs, and preserves is the perfect way to introduce the sticky factor. And then 2 cups of ketchup. It just gives it a great tangy quality, nice and rich tomato flavor. Now about 1/2 cup of soy sauce. This is a great savory way to offset all the sweetness. 1/2 cup of yellow mustard. You can also use Dijon mustard. Really, I wish Bryce and Todd were here. They would have loved that moment. What I was saying was any kind of mustard will do. It's fun to have boys. And then a few dashes of hot sauce, of course. I need a little more spice than that. So I chopped up some chipotle peppers, one of my favorite ingredients on earth, along with a ton of chopped garlic, minced really fine, and another favorite ingredient of mine, chopped fresh ginger. I never take fresh ginger for granted because sometimes I can't get it at my store in Pawhuska. And if you can't get fresh ginger, you really, really miss it. There is nothing like it in the world. This is a pretty crazy looking concoction, but I promise you, it is so delicious. There are so many flavors going on. Love this stuff. Now it just gets poured over both slow cookers of ribs. You know, I didn't grow up using a slow cooker. My mom didn't really use one that much. But on a hot summer day like this, it's really nice for things that need to cook for a long time. I don't want to have the oven on for several hours today. It's just too hot outside. Okay? Get the lids on. Turn on the slow cookers. The ribs are going to cook for about 3.5 hours until they're nice and tender. They are really tender, I can tell. I've just been putting them on sheet pans, and now I'm gonna move forward with the really sticky glaze. The sauce is delicious as it is, and actually you could just go ahead and eat the ribs as they are now. But as I said, I really like that stickiness all over the ribs. So I'll transfer the sauce into a pan. Oh, the sauce smells so good. I smell that ginger. I love fresh ginger. You know, if you want to, you can just leave the racks of ribs whole, wrap them in foil, and put them in the oven for 3.5 hours. I'm actually glad they haven't been in the oven all this time. The house is still nice and cool. Now I'm gonna turn the heat on the stove, and I made a little bit of a cornstarch slurry. It's just cornstarch and a little bit of water, and I'll pour it right into the sauce, and that's gonna give the glaze a real stickiness. The sauce is kind of loose as it is now, and the cornstarch will just make it really stick to those ribs. I've got these ribs that have been baking in the oven. These look amazing. The glaze is getting nice and thick. All right, they need another coating. You know, if you want a really sticky, thick glaze on ribs, you really have to baste them as they're baking in the oven. It's the only way to really get it adhered to the surface. Now I'm gonna brush another big coat on, and then they'll go back into the oven for another 30 minutes, and I'll brush them once more halfway through.
Avocado relish. So we're gonna use a California avocado that's nice and ripe. I take the bottom of my knife and I kind of turn it, and I just push it off with my thumb, and this way you get right to the flesh of the avocado. Kind of make diamonds right in the shell. And then I can scoop it out with a spoon. I like my avocados, whether it's a guacamole or some kind of relish, I like to be chunky as opposed to pureed. All right, so how are we gonna flavor this? A little bit of red onion, jalapenos. I mean, I think that you have to be careful with the chilies. I like to have heat kind of all the way through it, but you know, sort of a little bit as it kind of builds at each one of the components. And then some cilantro. For all the cilantro haters out there, try it again. That's what I keep saying. We're building cilantro love all over the country, little by little. If you don't like cilantro, obviously you can leave it out. You can put something like Italian parsley in it, but it's just not the same. And again, I like to coarsely chop this, not too fine, and then some fresh lime juice. So then I'm gonna take some black pepper and some salt, just with a fork. Just gonna mash the avocado. We're gonna keep it nice and chunky. And then remember those little tortillas that we had? Spicy, creamy, crispy, and very Mexican.
Iron Chef Spicy Shrimp Cocktail. So, 2 bay leaves, water, no salt, none, 0, peppercorns. End of story.
Bold!
Right here, I have my shrimp. They're U16, U12, U11, it's per pound. So if U16 are slightly smaller, U8s are jumbos, big ones. Anything too big, it becomes like a first course entree. It's chewy, it's too much shrimp at one time.
Yeah.
This is something you should dip with the tail into the sauce, eat it, throw this tail away, and go back for more right away.
So just to clarify, U12 means a pound is under 12 pieces.
Yes.
Is a pound in weight, which is a medium size. So a U8 under 8 is bigger.
Giant.
As the numbers get smaller, the shrimp gets bigger.
U1's a lobster.
Are you ready? Ketchup. Do you use ketchup when you're making this?
Love.
Okay.
What else would you use?
Well, there's other chili sauce and stuff like that.
No.
I use
That's
ketchup.
the best.
Okay.
The shinier, the better.
Yeah. Horseradish, like so much, it's ridiculous.
Jeffrey, that is a lot of
Yes, it is.
horseradish.
Okay, be careful.
Hot sauce?
Who are you?
A little bit of chili,
Oh, a little
sweet chili glaze, yeah.
Chili glaze. Wow.
Lemon juice. Whoa. Worcestershire sauce.
There it is from the hometown.
I can't with the sweet chili sauce. That really surprised me. I
That's
love
it.
that.
So it should not appear red. It should appear almost like that. You see that? We're gonna let that sit and hang out. Now, our shrimp are going in.
Uh-oh.
Right here. I let that cook just for a little bit just to get some of that. It's changed color. The peppercorn has changed color of the water. In boiling water. And now what we're gonna do is the most important thing. I don't keep my shrimp on ice. I don't put my shrimp in an ice bath after because guess what they soak up? Water.
Water.
And I put them in the fridge after I cook them on this right away.
No shocking.
No shocking whatsoever because it's another step, it's another waste of water and waste of time in a dish you gotta prepare. It shouldn't be hard to do this. This shrimp was thawed in the fridge overnight. I bought it peeled, cleaned, ready to go, frozen.
Wow.
Okay? You don't have to buy fresh shrimp for this. So now we're just gonna mend and we're gonna take our time and look at this. You see?
What
right
are
away,
you
they're always
doing?
starting to curl a bit. So if you can see right now, they're starting to get white and translucent. This is gonna take not a lot of time, but you must cook them fully. I would err on the side of, should I say this? Of slightly overcooking them. If you're gonna go this route, be careful, you don't wanna undercook them.
Somebody write
undercooked
down the
shrimp.
date.
The nose heat is getting to his brain, I think.
Yeah, I
When you
think.
cut a shrimp in half that's cooked, it should be white the whole time.
You're moving them around a lot as
I
you
am.
cook. Why are you doing that?
Just because they'll cook evenly. This is just a little method. I don't have a lot of water. I don't have this big pot of water.
not a
These
boil.
go right on a paper towel.
You did it.
They're fully cooked. I'm gonna let you just take a smell of that. And you tell me what you smell. Just pass it down.
Just shrimp.
Okay, you don't smell lemon.
You don't spell
Yeah.
Smell the
5,000
shrimp.
exotic, weird.
It smells like shrimp cocktail. The good
Old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned.
Shrimp cocktail. In the fridge, just like this, uncovered. In 5 minutes, it cools down. You're ready to serve it. That's it.
Can you blast chill it in the freezer?
Nah, you don't have to do
Feeling
that.
frisky?
Don't waste your time.
All right.
Put some more Sinatra on. Make another martini.
There you go.
'Kay.
That sounds delicious. A dirty martini and a shrimp
Oh,
cocktail?
nothing like it. Now, I don't
Get
put
them
these
hot.
on ice when I serve them, shock them, or store them. They're always off ice. You put these out in small quantities, not large quantities, so they get eaten, then you take out more small quantities and fill up. You don't put like a whole stuff on ice. I hate them when they're on ice, because invariably you get a piece of ice and you're eating ice.
I hate that.
Okay, you ready? Here's our beautiful spicy sauce. This should destroy my nose. And that's where I like it to be
Wow.
at.
Very aggressive approach.
Geoffrey.
I think your septum's gonna melt.
Here we go.
Ooh.
Ready?
Oh my
Stage
God.
5 clinger.
My mouth is watering.
It is. Snappy. Snappy the shrimp. Uh-oh.
Good. You saw the horseradish. It's not too much. The sweet chili sauce actually tames it down. The long-range effect of this is you want more, and that's what a shrimp cocktail should want you to make. And this is so delicious. This sauce I just made for you, you can make a big batch of it. It's one of these things that lasts, actually gets better.
So we're gonna make
Very
a
good.
spicy lobster pasta inspired by Katie's husband, Ryan. So first here in the pan, I've got some olive oil down, some onion, garlic, and a Fresno chili. You can leave the ribs
Oh, I love
in
that.
and the
You gotta leave
seeds
the ribs
in
in.
for a little bit of spice.
Spice, right?
You know
Nothing
what
wrong
I'm
with that,
saying?
Andy.
But
Make it fiery.
lobster wants spice, right? It's a
It
rich,
does.
it's rich lobster.
Lobster wants spice. Now, to this,
What do you
I'm
need
gonna
from me?
add in, you know what, so this is what we're gonna do at the end. Katie likes to toss it with some fresh herbs, so that's
Okay.
parsley and mint, which
Wow.
I really love for
Interesting.
this. Just give me a nice rough chop on that.
I can do that.
Jeff, you're obviously on salted
Team
pasta
pasta.
water going down over there. When they're done, reserve some of that pasta water because obviously Katie knows what's up. We're gonna thicken the sauce a little bit with that pasta
I have
water.
one job, literally, and then
Yeah.
you just took it from me.
And then in the sink is
We
the
don't need you. You're
colander
fired.
for you,
You're
Jeff,
fired.
when you need it, okay? All right, so now to
Another
this right
Valentine's
here,
Day for Jeff without anybody.
got an entire can of whole tomatoes.
Oh, I love whole tomatoes.
Now let me show you a little trick I like with whole tomatoes. I feel like when people do the can of whole tomatoes, they use their masher like this, huh?
No.
Counterintuitive. Come in here and break them down like that.
Really?
Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Less splatter.
Less splatter. I don't see zero. I see zero,
zero
minimal
splattation.
splattation.
Zero splatter.
Minimal splattation.
Well,
Use
this is
your
going.
kitchen
This is a
tools.
historic moment, people.
Is it?
You're
Is it?
seeing it for the
We've
first.
been mashing wrong our whole life, since we
Entire
were
life.
humans, since around the.
Are you joking?
No,
I'm
I
not.
never saw that.
Well, this, I mean, it's just look at it. It makes
It's
more
noisier.
sense.
It's
yeah.
noisier.
It is
A
noisier.
little bit
little bit.
noisier, but look,
Turn
it
the
did the
TV up.
job, and we didn't splatter anything on ourselves. Now, to this, I'm gonna add a little bit of dry white wine. You're gonna cover this up and cook this for about 35 to 40 minutes. It's gonna get all like flavorful together. All the tomatoes are gonna cook down. It's gonna
Oh.
look like this. Look at this, guys, huh?
You
That is gorgeous.
Right?
Gorge.
So look at the beauty of that. Now, I've got 2 lobster tails. So the story with Katie and Ryan is that if it's a special occasion, Ryan loves to make lobster tails for Katie. And if it's a special occasion, Katie, oh, look at them right there. Katie loves to make pasta for Ryan. So they
Which
did
is
a
every day for
mashup.
Katie.
Yeah, oh, she does not leave a carb behind, trust me. So putting these together in a dish is very loving for
it is.
Valentine's Day, yeah.
What
so I'm
about
gonna put
Gus?
these.
They're leaving him behind. I'll
Yeah,
tell you that.
Gus probably gets a little bit of the leftovers. leftovers, right?
We see how Gus is treated backstage when he's
like-
here.
So
That is a
look,
dog.
I put
Very
the
good.
lobster tails right into
with
the
a little-
pot. You're gonna cover this up for 5 minutes.
Oh, look at that.
2 great things happen here. The lobster obviously steams and cooks, but not all the way through, because we're going to take it out, chop it, put it back in, twirl it, and then it'll finish off.
Twirl.
Yeah, give it a little twirl. But also, that shell flavor gets into the tomato in that short amount of time and really makes it flavorful. All right, so after about 5 minutes, you're gonna take the lobster out, and then hopefully it's cool enough to touch. And then just crack one down the center. Is it cool enough
Oh,
to touch?
it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I like just get in there like that.
Perfectly cooked, too.
It is. You can
I
kind of
love
really
that color.
feel
Look at
it.
that. The tomato poached lobster tail.
Another 2 things. We got the chopper, secondary
and
chopper.
You're just really doing so much today. Really proud of you.
Look at
Sonny.
that. Look at that meat.
So you keep it in the shell like that?
No, she takes it out, gives it a nice little chop, so I like to kind of go in.
Hey, for those people that are on a budget, it's a good way to kind of extend the life of a lobster tail, too. In a pasta dish, you get all the flavor, you get chunks of the meat. You know, it's a little more economical than 1 lobster tail per person.
It is. I mean, we'll also go to the freezer section. You know, you don't have to buy this fresh, obviously. Go to the freezer section and buy them in bags. And a lot of times at the grocery store, they sell it already steamed for you. But I would argue that it's nice to get it raw so you can get that flavor into the pot. All right, GZ, I did all the messy work for you. If you don't mind giving that a rough
Yes,
chop for
ma'am.
me and giving it back.
Okay.
I'm gonna wash my hands really quick.
This pasta's perfect.
I got the colander in the sink for you. The sauce is ready over here.
We want to...
Don't forget some of that pasta water.
We got it. Jeffrey
you
did
want
my
the
job
lobster?
earlier, remember?
We want the lobster.
Oh, bring it back over here. All right, and then Jeff, bring the pasta.
Here, right here?
Yeah, you can put it right back
What
into
about
the
the
pot.
herbs? What about the herbs?
Bring me the herbs. Yeah, bring everything. It's all
Water
coming
still
together, guys. Do
Into the...
you know what I'm
pasta.
saying? You like this?
I love the way we're working here. Some olive oil?
Do you think? I think Katie would like some olive oil. And what about? You think she would like pepper? Or is that wrong of me?
No.
Hey, why not? A little pep.
All right, let me get this in here.
Oi.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
with the stuff on the top. There it is.
Stuff on the top.
Look at that.
Where's
Look
Katie?
at that stir. That's short for lobster.
You know what I'm saying?
Look at this.
I feel like Katie would also do one of these moments. You
Yeah,
know what
Mo,
I'm
you're not a
saying?
Mo, yeah.
A little bit of olive oil.
No cheese,
And
though.
there you have
No,
it.
yummy.
Katie and Ryan's Valentine's Day dish. You can do this too. You guys want to try some?
Yeah,
Try it.
come on.
You want to
dish it
serve?
up.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Here, you go. I don't even know.
Get in there.
In this area.
Is there any
Okay,
lobster
with
over
the
there?
flip of the wrist.
I didn't neglect you. There you go. Look at one lobster for you.
Thanks a lot. What are you?
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Johnny Spaghettis. You love it. You do that. Look at this guy. A little vitamin L for you.
Right. And I would think that even shrimp would be great in this. If you
Shrimp,
can't
yeah.
find lobster
Scallops, maybe.
locally.
A little
What
fruit
am
de mar.
Wow. I'm gonna tell you something. I've never had this from Katie, but I know she would be very proud of what you did right here. This is a delicious
We did it
bite.
together.
Pasta cooked perfect. The spice is like on fire, but in such a good way. Lobster's cooked perfectly.
I've got a pork butt here, also known as a pork shoulder. I'm gonna start by seasoning the pork with salt and pepper. And then I've got 2 onions that I've quartered, and I'm gonna put the quarters in the bottom of this pot. And that's gonna serve as sort of a base or a stand for the pork butt. And then I've got a can of chipotle peppers, which has become a real staple in my pantry. They're smoky and extremely spicy, and they add something really wonderful to this pork. Just pour them over the top. And then I call this spicy pop pulled pork because it has pop in it. Do you say pop or soda? We say pop around here. You can use whatever kind you like. Okay, and now I'm gonna add, for a little extra sweetness, 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. And this is gonna cook over 6 hours. The pork is gonna become tender, the flavors are just gonna be wonderful, there'll be a sauce that's a combination of spicy and sweet. I gotta get this in the oven. This is gonna cook low and slow, about 300 degrees for 6 hours. And it's gonna be absolutely perfect. All right, ready, set, go. Okay, it made it, good. And then I'm just gonna pull the pork. Oh my goodness, just look at that. Just completely falls apart. I love this recipe. I make it all the time. It's just too easy to throw in the oven. When in doubt, make spicy pot pulled pork. Having a bad day? Make spicy pot pulled pork. I'll stop now. I'm just gonna skim a little bit of the fat off of the liquid. The extra fat will just slide right on the spoon. All right, now I'm just gonna scoop it back in. And this just lets the meat soak in that liquid and injects extra flavor into that meat. A 6-hour slow-cooked pot-pulled pork will really hit the spot. I don't often start cooking at 6 a.m., but this is totally worth it.
This is my spicy chicken sandwich. Woo! Thank you, thank you. I've already dropped some, I'm gonna show you how to do it. So, GZ, I want you to make what is the marinade and will also become part of the dredge at the end, okay? So that's buttermilk, some hot sauce, and you know my favorite ingredient, hot Hungarian paprika. Whisk it all together.
Yes, ma'am.
I've got my chicken breast here. Now, first secret here is there's so many nooks and crannies and craggles in that chicken breast, and I would argue it's the biggest chicken breast I've ever seen at a fast food location.
It's big.
So the way we create that
It's a real breast or the whole breast?
It's a whole breast, GZ. It's crazy. You take some kitchen shears, you take your chicken breast, and just kind of give it some personality.
Now, I've never heard of that technique.
Cut some cuts in there, because we want some of that breading and the batter to get in there and create some nice craggles, I like to call them.
Yeah, for sure.
So just create moments that can happen that are gonna give you some craggles. Now, don't go too far, and you don't have to go all the way through. So look, you see what I've done here? Just about 6 or 7 cuts, you know, maybe 8 around it. Create those little nooks and crannies.
Scientific.
Right into our batter or our marinade. It's gonna become a batter in a minute. Now, you refrigerate this overnight or leave it on your countertop for 2 hours, okay? If you do refrigerate this, make sure before you go to fry it that you put it on the countertop for 2 hours so it gets room temp.
Okay.
All right?
And I bet the cutting of it, too, helps it cook more evenly, because that one end is so plump, and then you have the tapered end, so it kind of
Exactly. It
matches up.
allows some of that oil to get in there and bring it to the right temperature. That's right, Jeff. You know what's up.
I know. It's
all right.
science.
So, these are the marinated chicken breasts. I'm taking them out of the marinade. That's just, remember, buttermilk, hot sauce, and the hot Hungarian paprika. And a lot of people have been to the fast food place. This looks really familiar, because when you bite into their fried chicken, there's that pink layer of seasoned
so
love.
that's what it is.
All right, so look what's happening here. This is going into a bowl of flour.
Oh.
And then added to that, we're gonna do some baking powder, some cornstarch, and a little bit of water, only if needed. So start, you know, giving this a nice little whisk. And if it's a pancake consistency, leave it. If you need a little bit more water to loosen it, then you're gonna add that in. And I would say we probably need a little bit more water. It all depends how much of your marinade is left over. And just patting these dry, okay? Getting as much off as we can. And then a little bit more water.
Yes,
just
Chef.
a little bit more.
It's all about the pickle, in my opinion.
A little bit more.
The pickle.
The
Because the
pickle-
pickle with the fried,
I also think the
and then the bun.
Yeah.
And I would argue that this pickle at this establishment, oh, look at that. So the pickle at this establishment is just not even a typical pickle.
No.
It's a little bit thicker and has a little bit more chew to it.
So it's your atypical pickle?
It's the atypical pickle. All right, so I'm just gonna get a nice internal on this.
160?
You see that right
Perfection.
there? 159.
Perfection.
It's good to take it out right now because that carryover temperature and cooking is gonna get it to that 160, 165. Now, I like to kind of keep this on crumpled up paper instead of flat. Yeah, GZ. Hit it with a little bit of salt right as it comes out.
Right there.
And then I'm just gonna show you how to dredge and get these in. All right, so chicken breasts, dried off. They're wet. So I'm gonna go into some flour.
This is like lunacy, right?
Yeah.
In a good way.
This
Look
is
at
creating the craggles. You need the
Craggle.
crunchy, you need the craggle crunch, you
This
need all of
is
that.
as close as Geoffrey's ever getting to a fast food restaurant.
Right?
No, I saw him at one in the drive-thru last night in Jersey. He was
He
wearing
does it in secret.
Yeah.
Into our batter.
Just like that? You
Just
fry
like
it?
that. Back into the flour.
Oh, you're doing
Back
a
in
crusty
the triple.
crust.
Triple apple.
Flour.
This
These
is-
are the tricks. These are the tricks the restaurants, the fast food places are doing.
But it's nice to see. I mean, if you're gonna have food, make it good food. That's
Exactly.
fast, not just
Right
fast.
into the oil. That's peanut oil. You can also do a vegetable oil if you like, and that'll work. So I'll put one together for you. It's not gonna be too bad. You do want it kind of like right when you got it. You know what I'm saying? So we've got the buns. They are buttered.
That's what I'm
brioche
talking
buns,
about.
all right?
Buttered and toasted.
What's the mayo?
So the mayo is very simple. It's just some mayonnaise and a little bit of that sauce from the chipotle and adobo in that little tiny can. You only need to scoop out like a little bit, like a teaspoon, for half a cup of mayo. You don't want to blow your lid off. So
I love mayonnaise. I mean,
Jeff?
to me, it's like a mayonnaise on a fried chicken sandwich.
It's really the only thing. There's certain things I'll eat mayonnaise on. One's like a club sandwich, like crispy bacon and iceberg, and others a fried chicken sandwich. Otherwise, I need to have like flavoring in it.
all right, now I always ask for extra pickles. So
Me
I'm just gonna give you, yes, I'll give you 4,
Yes.
1 per quadrant.
You know, the other good thing about when you are at the fast food and you ask for extra pickles, then they make it fresh.
Yes, they do.
It's
That is
not sitting there
that
in
is
the
a
lineup.
no.
That's a
always.
trick. Look at that, right on top.
Look at that.
A little bit more.
I mean, that's for like 2 people, no?
No, that's one person. And
Not possible.
we didn't even drive away. We sat in the parking lot and ate that
Yeah, but that's
sandwich
so much
both
food.
times. Like, we are not taking that baby home.
Jeffrey, have we met?
Now, then,
Yes.
you gotta, just like the place, you gotta get it into a pouch. Then I'm gonna close it
I'm
up and
feeling
give it
this.
to you.
I'm feeling it.
And that kind
There
of
you go.
steams
Love
up the
it.
bun
That
and
steams
everything.
up the bun, keeps everything
You
nice and
give me a
warm.
napkin. I'm gonna need it.
You need
Yeah,
a
give
chicken
her a
bit for
napkin.
this.
This is you gotta put
Yeah,
your
you
hair
need
back. Yeah.
Here, can I help you with this one?
Yeah, you can help me with that one, get that out. And there you
not out.
have it. It's
Not
my
ready yet,
spicy
right?
chicken sandwich, y'all. Forget waiting.
I mean, look at that
That's
thing
it.
of
You got the
beauty.
thick
Here
end
we
and the
go.
tapered end.
You got the thick and the tapered, crunchy goodness.
Funny.
Is it close?
It's better.
What?
It's so crunchy and juicy on the inside. It's perfectly cooked. And the pickles. And I'm telling you, that soft, buttered, toasted bun, it's toasted to perfection.
Spicy basil beef stir fry. It is that quintessential Thai dish that's spicy and savory and has the smell of Thai basil. It's delicious and it's easy, so let's get into it. So let's get started with some knife work. I'm a believer in mise en place, and all that really means is get all your components prepped out, measured, ready to go, so by the time you're in the wok, it's a simple, smooth process, all right? So veggies-wise, chilies. These are Serrano chilies, and all I'm gonna do is slice them really thin. And I'm all about slicing things on the bias, which means just a little angle, not that perpendicular cut that makes perfect coins, because it's boring and it doesn't really look cool. So just a little bias slice. So note on cutting chilies that capsaicin oil, the stuff that makes the chili spicy, it tends to stick on things. So, you know, make sure you're constantly like washing your hands and wiping your blades. And definitely, I'm a big believer in washing hands and wiping down utensils so you don't accidentally kind of like do one of these and go, oh my God. So now it's time for garlic. I cut garlic the same way all the time. I find the root side of the garlic and I just cut that little tile right off, okay? And the cloves are literally hanging on by just that root. So once you get the root, you can kind of neatly just kind of take what you want. Take your knife, flat, lean it on that piece of garlic and just press. It doesn't take a lot of pressure. My workflow in the kitchen is doing the same thing in an assembly line over and over. So I won't like smash and then peel each clove. I'll smash and then I'll come through and peel because it makes you a lot more efficient in the kitchen. And you know, getting better at cooking is all about repetition. So if you kind of start to get into habits of doing things a certain way, you get a lot faster. So this way now, all I'm doing is peeling. This is also a good technique where you could just take all these garlic cloves and stick them in a zippy bag or in a container, and they're kind of there for you anytime you need it. I only need 4 for this recipe, but you can always feel free to get ahead. Once the garlic is in this state, let's give it a bigger smash. And then fingertips always curled under, thumb never protruding behind those fingers, and just give it a nice thin slicing pass. If you are a person that buys peeled garlic, no judgment. If you're a person that buys minced peeled garlic, just a little judgment. It's not that hard. Also, it's a really good skill builder. So get into the habit of chopping your own garlic. Next, bell peppers and onions. Let's do bell peppers first. Also another fun item to practice on to build your skill. I always talk about the guide hand, but let's talk about the knife hand. I like to hold my knife in a pinch grip. Take your thumb and your index finger like you're making an OK, and your thumb and your index are really holding the blade. You wrap your 3 remaining fingers on the handle, and that's the way to hold the knife. It becomes a perfect extension of one's arm. So here we go. Tile off the back, tile off the front, pop off that stem, and then the old rolly cut. So let's start a tile, but not push all the way through. Flat cut, roll, flat cut, roll. And there we go. So in a few motions, we have seedless piece of bell pepper. So the Tila knife rhyme. Tile becomes a slice, slice becomes a dice. I always make kind of tiles of everything before I cut it. If you're one of those people that loves like that fine dining look and you don't like the pith of the bell pepper, you could actually go ahead and cut the pith off here. So back in the day when I was a kid in a French kitchen, they made us cut these perfect little brunoise, and that means 1/8 inch by 1/8 inch square. I'm not gonna make you crazy like they made me crazy. For this dish, I just want what we call bâtonnets or slices, 1/4 inch slices. That's a bâtonnet. That's just a fancy way of saying 1/4 inch slice. Now, of course, the tops and the bottoms of the bell peppers, they are not rectangles. But you know what? I'm still gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna take a tile into a slice. And another way you can hide the shape, if you're really kind of one of those symmetrical, everything's gotta be perfect people, you can actually take these and cut them in a perpendicular and make some garnish for the end. But I like these. I like that kind of rustic look. Looks like I'm hanging out in Bangkok and wanting to get a big old bowl of spicy basil stir fry. Onion, finally, with onion, find that root side. I just want you to shave off and square off that root side, just like that. And then I want you to do the same thing to the top side, and then cut the onion in half, north pole to south pole. All right, now you peel your onions. I want you to peel your onions in the halves. It makes your life a lot easier. And remember, my workflow is do the same motion. Do one motion at a time. So let's dice an onion, shall we? I take my knuckles off the board and check it out. I just want to go through that onion, not all the way through. It's 1/4 inch slices that way, now 1/4 inch this way. And I'll do the same thing over here. Remember workflow. So if I'm not going all the way through, now I'm gonna go this way. And I'm using the root side of the onion to keep it all together. And then finally, 1/4 inch. So if you go 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, you get these perfect dices every time. Yeah, you know, it looks hard, but seriously, with a little bit of practice, knife work is one of my kind of the most rewarding things. It's a lot of fun to cut things and really kind of work on cutting things well. So that's my mise en place. I've got Thai basil here, but I'm just gonna literally pick the leaves right off the stem because I think there's more flavor that way. And there it is, my mise en place is done. I'm a huge believer in not dirtying the kitchen and pulling 1,000 bowls. I like big cutting boards or big plates and just kind of mise en place your stuff close to the wok so I can make that really quick transition. Let's make some sauce, shall we? This is a phenomenal dish for Thai cooking because it's teaching you all your critical must-haves in your Thai pantry. Let's start with this one. This chili paste is packed in soybean oil. All it is, friends, is roasted shallots and garlic and roasted shrimp smashed into a paste. It has very little spice, it has very little chili. So it's basically sweet, umami savoriness. It is a phenomenal sauce. And don't let the word chili scare you. It's not very spicy at all. It's completely savory and has a delicious flavor. You could put it on toast and make shrimp toast with it, right? If you minced up some shrimp, really simple. Oyster sauce. Oyster sauce is the most commonly used sauce in the Chinese stir-fry kitchen. It's not soy sauce. This sauce has, again, every flavor you want in it. The savoriness, the saltiness. You know how you eat stir-fried vegetables like bok choy or Chinese broccoli from the Chinese restaurant? They're using oyster sauce. They're not using soy sauce, believe it or not. For Thailand's sake, for the saltiness, we're using fish sauce. And fish sauce should always be amber in color in a fresh bottle. See how it's slightly translucent and brown and amber? That's a fresh bottle of fish sauce. Once it starts to oxidize and turns opaque, that's when it's time to get rid of it and find a new bottle. It's like $2. You can buy a new bottle. So you know that bottle that's been in your fridge for a year? Let's just get rid of it and start over, okay? Sweet soy sauce, watch the pour. That is not just soy sauce. That is about 70% molasses, about 30% soy sauce. So it is sweet, way more than it's salty. Because of its viscosity, it is a phenomenal sauce to create like a nice thick glaze without making food too salty. Now you're like, yo, Jet, I like shrimp basil, or I like chicken basil, I like tofu basil. That's all good. The technique is exactly the same. So the only thing you're gonna change is your protein. All right, so before we actually cook up the beef, my favorite way to eat this dish is with a fried egg on top of it. So let me show you how to do a Thai-style basted egg. All right, so let's get that wok hot. This is kind of that foamy, bubbly egg on the outside that with the runny yolk. This is how we do it in the Thai kitchen. I'm starting with a wok here. I don't want you to obsess over needing a wok. I mean, unless you're a gearhead like my wife, Allie, she needs like the right tool for each job, then by all means, buy a nice little carbon steel wok. But this can be accomplished with just about any skillet in your house. With a decent amount of oil, and I'm looking for the oil just to start smoking, and that's what I've got there. Crack your egg on a flat surface so you can bring it in and do a nice open. Now watch, I'm gonna shake the egg so it doesn't stick to the pan, and I'm just gonna baste the oil on it. And if your oil is starting to smoke pretty aggressively, feel free to turn the heat down. You just needed that initial pop of hot oil to get the egg from sticking to the bottom. And I'm rotating while I'm basting the hot oil onto the egg. All basting means is taking the hot oil and ladling it over, because I want to cook the top of the egg with that hot oil whilst the bottom of the egg is getting love from the bottom of the wok. So as you can see, the white is starting to cover over because it's absorbing all that deliciousness. And I've turned off the heat because I know my egg is close, and I'm just gonna get a paper towel and rest this egg on a small plate. Using that spoon, I'm going to kind of push it off the oil so I'm not absorbing too much oil, and just lay this on a plate. If you're trying to make a ton of these, do them all at once, lay them on a sheet that's lined, and then you can actually top. Let's say you're making this dish for 4, make 4 eggs, top them, make 5, so you have 1 extra for yourself. I call that the chef's treat. So there you go, basted egg. So since I'm gonna make a family style platter, I'm gonna make 1 more egg because they're usually fought over, and I'm gonna make sure I get one for myself. Crack that egg on a flat surface and then open it nice and gently. Important part is that initial shake, shake, shake. And then once the egg sets on the bottom, go ahead and start basting. And you see how this yolk kind of broke? That doesn't freak me out. I still would eat this. You know, if you're going for like perfection, feel free to do another one, but I'm all about real life, man. Like, I'm not stressed out that this is broken because the yolk is still together, as you can see. It's still gonna run beautifully as I smash this over jasmine rice with my spicy beef basil. So if it starts to smoke a little much, lower the heat and just literally baste that egg. And that basting, again, is gonna bring the egg whites over and then kind of encapsulate that beautiful yolk in the middle. Heat's off. lift that egg up, let the oil drain. Man, I'm living dangerously today. Drum roll, guys. Woo! Survived that one. Okay, I'm good to go. Fried eggs, good. My oil's still hot. I'm gonna grab the beef. 2 seconds on beef. This is lean, probably 5 to 10% fat. Whatever your store has is gonna be fine, but if you're lucky enough to have a butcher, ask the butcher to grind the meat once in a large die, meaning he or she will push it through a large hole, meaning I want big chunks of ground meat. I'm gonna let the same oil get to smoke point again. Mise en place is ready to go. We should always be thinking about order of operations, right? In the wok, I automatically know I'm gonna go to aromatics first, and the aromatics here are gonna be garlic. Wok is smoking, yes? No, we agree? Yeah, it is. So just at that first wisp of white smoke. Now I'm gonna go chili. Warn your family that chili in the wok could get a little, how shall we say, the vapors are going to kind of get to those that are sensitive. So if you know what I mean, if you're in an enclosed small kitchen, open a window, turn on your fan, fry that up. Now, I want this pan screaming at this point because I'm gonna put the beef in. So what I'm gonna do now is put the beef in. Now the beef is coming out of the refrigerator, right? So we know it's like 40 degrees. It's gonna cool down this pan quite a bit. So what I want you to do is use the surface area of the wok. Really, flatten out your protein. Turn over and just make one nice thin layer so you can get as much beef as possible sticking to that really screaming hot pan. And just leave it alone for a second because I really want to take advantage of searing this beef up. This is great beef, by the way. Look at the color. It's beautiful, dark, rich red. There are no gray spots to it, and it's not leaching a lot of moisture. This is a really great quality beef. All right, so you turn it over again, and again, use the surface area of the wok. I want to cook this about halfway, meaning I want the exterior to be seared brown, but not overcooked because I want some moisture in there. Now, I've got bells and onions. I do want to put my onions in now. So as you can see, this beef has a little bit of residual liquid in there. And all that is, family, is water that's in the actual beef, which is totally normal. So I'm gonna just drain that off. Perfect. All right, liquid drained off. I'll get rid of that. Now it's time for the bell peppers. And if you are a chili head, feel free to sub out serranos for Thai chilies. And now I'm gonna do the sauce. Make sure to give it a stir to get all those components together. And what really makes Thai basil beef pop is the basil. I'm using Thai basil. Smells like black licorice or anise, and I'm just kind of roughly tearing the leaves. I'm not really being very ginger with it because I like the stems. I want them to kind of sear up in the wok. And I'm gonna do my final toss. And I just want to wilt these leaves. I want all of those flavors to come together. Those residual sugars that were in that sweet soy, they're gonna caramelize. And if you can't toss the pan, don't. Don't make a big old mess in the house. But if you are comfortable, go for it. All right, lastly, I've got a beautiful glaze in the pan. It's looking super delicious. I want you to finish with just a little white pepper. That's gonna give you a little layer of heat and aromatic. Let's do one final toss. I eat these stems, but if you don't dig them, just get rid of them. So the only way to know how delicious this dish is to taste it. I can't tell you how important it is to taste your food before you serve it to your guest. You're really looking for a balance of savoriness, sweetness, kind of all that herbaceousness of the basil, placed perfectly with the sweetness of those bell peppers. I'm ready to plate. Let me clear up a little bit here. Oh, yeah. You have no idea how excited the entire crew is every time we get to this stage. So remember, I made spicy basil beef, but there's no reason it can't be any of your favorite proteins, including tofu. So 1 egg, 2 eggs. I wouldn't mind giving that a little hit of pepper. And so there you have it, spicy basil beef stir fry with a fried egg, by the way. It's beefy, it's sweet, it's basil, it's everything I want to eat all the time. It's been really fun cooking together with you. Now go eat this, have fun, and I'll see you next time.